Hello everyone, my name is Hemu and I am from the Skilled Inspirational Academy, and today we are here for the PaloAlto Firewall demo. So before starting the demo, let me give you some details. So guys, we are starting new batch on PaloAlto Firewall plus F5 Advanced Web, means it's a combo batch. But if you only wants to opt for PaloAlto, or if you only wants to opt for F5 Web, you can also able to do that. The fees for PaloAlto plus F5 Advanced Web is 12,000. And if you will enroll for the individually only on PaloAlto or only on F5 Web, you have to pay 7,000. And that particular training I'm starting from 27th of May. And your PaloAlto firewall timing is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday and every Sunday. Okay, so this is the batch which we are going to start. And guys, if anyone is interested for this particular training, you can see in my screen, this is the number which belongs to me. So you have to reach out to me on this number, and I will basically help you with your queries and with your enrollment as well. In this particular training, what are the things we are going to cover? So if I will tell you, it's around 40 plus hours of training. You will get the lifetime interview support, means 40 hours for your PaloAlto, and after that around 28 plus hours we need for the F5 web training actually. Okay, and your PaloAlto training I will able to complete in 8 weekends. So there are total of 16 classes. Total number of classes which is 16, each class of 3 hours. You will get the lifetime interview support. You will get the lab workbook. You will get the recorded lifetime access for the recorded sessions. We will also help you building the lab in your laptop. And let's suppose your laptop is not having the good RAM, good resources, then we will help you building the lab in the Google Cloud platform. Because you know, when you register on the Google, they will give you around 24,000 INR as a free credit for 90 days. And that particular credit we can utilize, and we will basically install the EVNG over the Google Cloud, and where we will perform all your practicals. It's a weekends batch, as I have mentioned. And guys, during the sessions, if you want to discuss any type of practical issues, and if you are facing some issues during the lab or in your production environment, I am going to help you with that as well. You will get the mock interview support. And guys, if you really want to enroll for this training, you have to reach out to us on this particular mention number. This number belongs to me. So basically, I will help you with the process of the enrollment. Now, let me just go through with the course content. What is the course content I am going to cover in this particular PaloAlto firewall training? So before going into the course content, guys, let me tell you the prerequisite for this particular training. So we just need a CCNA level knowledge, basically. If you are a fresher in the security domain, you don't need to worry about it. We just need, if you have a CCNA level knowledge, like you can able to understand the TCP, UDP, IPA, all these things, this is enough for this particular training. So that's the prerequisite. Now, in this particular training, I will basically start with the platform and architecture. So in this particular first lecture, I will cover all the hardware appliance which we have from the PaloAlto. Like we have a 200 series, then we have a 400 series, then we have a 800 series, then we have a 3200 series is there, 3400 series is there, right? Then we have a 5200, 5400. So we will discuss all these particular hardware appliance series details. And I will also going to discuss the virtual appliance details, what type of VMs we are having, because if you have your environment, if you have your application environment over the Google Cloud, let's suppose, or over the AWS or any public cloud, or any other virtualization platforms, what you have to do, you have to spin the virtual firewall or VMs of these devices there if you want to implement the security posture. Okay. Once I'll complete that, I will go through with the single pass architecture, which is your SP3 architecture, and I will give you the advanced level overview of this SP3 architecture, because if you will go for any type of interviews, they are going to ask this particular question: what is SP3 architecture? Can you just explain the Palo Alto firewall architecture, right? So all these things they used to ask generally. I will cover the flow logic, which is also known as like packet flow in Palo Alto, or life of a packet inside the Palo Alto. And also guys, in your today's demo, I will go through with the flow logic. Okay, or I will go through with the life of a packet inside the PAN-OS. How my Palo Alto firewall going to do the packet processing when it will receive the packet. And guys, one more thing, your training, I will use PAN-OS 11 here, which is the latest version. And guys, Palo Alto done lots of changes on PAN-OS 11. Okay, so we will discuss these particular changes as well. Then I will, after that I will discuss the how to do the initial configuration, which includes your how we can configure the host name, management interface, IP address, subnet details, default gateway details, how to configure NTP servers, DNS servers, right? All these particular things. So this I will cover in the initial configuration. And also, let's suppose you want to deploy this firewall into any of your customer location, and you are working from some remote location, right? Now, how you will basically do that deployment? What is the process you have to follow? How you will guide the field engineer or site engineer for that? Basically, I will go through with all these kind of details, how you can basically guide these particular people, so basically you can able to do the successful deployment at the customer end. Then initial access of the system, how you will take the initial access of your system. What is the default username, default password, default IP address on the management interface, how we can connect the firewall with the console port, right? All these details I'm going to cover. Then I will discuss the configuration management. In configuration management, I will discuss what is the candidate config file, what is the running configuration file, where your candidate configuration file is available, right? Because that file available in your management plane, your running configuration is available into the data plane. How that configuration is basically we used to copy from management plane to data plane, right? What is how we can run the commit command, right? What is the type of commit we are having? What are the commit phases we are having, right? So all these kind of details, what are the daemons involved in the commit process? All these things I am going to cover. And in your configuration management, I will also cover how we can take the backup of the configuration, how we can export the backup, how we can import the backup, how we can save the configuration backup with some name snapshot. So all these kind of details I will cover. Once we will complete that, I'll move towards the license and software updates. Here I will tell you how we can do the license management in your Palo Alto firewall. What type of license offered by the Palo Alto firewall? Like what is threat prevention license? What is URL filtering license? Like what is PanDB URL filtering license? What is Bright Cloud URL filtering license, right? What is Wildfire license? All these details I'm going to cover. What is DNS security license? How we can do these particular licensing? How we can register the Palo Alto devices with the support portal? How we can activate these licenses with the help of auth code, right? Then I will also cover the most important topic, like how we can do the software updates management. Like if you want to upgrade the device, how you can do that? What is the process we have to follow? Everything I'm going to cover. And how you can basically manage your license with the help of CLI of Palo Alto and with the help of graphical user interface of the Palo Alto. How we can manage the dynamic updates, how we can do the scheduling, all these details I'm going to cover. Once I'll complete that, I'll move towards the next topic where I will basically go through with the account administration. How we can create an account for different users. Let's say we have a L1 engineers, we have a L2 engineers, we have a L3 engineers, right? And we have some network developers, and these people is responsible doing the automation stuff. How we can create these particular administration or these users account there, how we can provide the appropriate admin roles so they can able to perform their activities, right? How we can integrate your PaloAlto Fire with the Radius server by using the Radius server with your Cisco ICE or your Aruba ClearPass, because these are the two main devices which is used by the organizations, right, for the account administration purpose. Your PaloAlto 5 gets authenticated, authorized through the ICE and Aruba ClearPass, these type of devices. So how we can basically make this type of integration. Once I'll complete that, I'll move towards the interface configuration. How we can do the interface configuration, what is layer 2 interface, what is layer 3, what is virtual wire, what is step mode. And guys, here I will also cover how we can do the layer 2 deployment of your PaloAlto 5, which include, so like this particular session will include the deployment mode of your PaloAlto firewall. What is layer 3 deployment mode, how we can deploy PaloAlto firewall in virtual wire, how we can deploy PaloAlto firewall in tap mode. So all these particular deployment I'm going to discuss. I have a dedicated labs for that. Okay. How we can create a security zones, what is the use of security zones, all these things I will cover. What is the concept of sub interface, what is the concept of aggregate interface, all these things I'm going to cover. Aggregate interface means it's just a ether channels or your port channels. What is the concept of DSCP, how we can configure PaloAlto as a DSCP server, as a DSCP client, and as a DSCP relay agent. So all these three things I'm going to cover. Then I will discuss the virtual routers. What is virtual router? Let's suppose if you have a multiple virtual router on the same device, what is the use case for that particular thing? Because in PaloAlto firewall, if you want to configure the routing, like your static routing, your dynamic routing protocol like REP, BGP and OSPF, right? What do you have to do? You have to go through with the virtual router concept basically. So I will discuss all these things with the help of use case and how we can manage all these things with the help of CLI as well for your day-to-day jobs. And once I'll complete that, I'll move towards the next topic, which includes your security policies and your net policies. How we can do the administration for your security rules. How we can do the administration for your net rules. All these details I'm going to cover here. Okay, well, like what type of security policy we can create, what is intra-zone default rule, what is intra-zone, interzone and intra-zone rules we are having, right? So I will discuss regarding that as well here, right? How we can create a security policy with the help of CLI and with the help of graphical user interface. And after that, in your net, I will first discuss like what is dynamic net, what is port address translation, which is your dynamic IP and port in your PaloAlto firewall. Then we will discuss what is static net. Then we will discuss what is destination net. And guys, in destination net, there are the different use cases we are having. So in your DNet, I have seen there are three type of use case, and I will cover all these three use case. And I will also discuss here what is U-turn-net with the help. And guys, all these things I will do with the help of practicals, because I have created my lab in such a way where I have all the servers, everything. And guys, I will also help you building the similar type of lab in your environments. Okay. Once we will complete that, I'll move towards the most important topic of your PaloAlto firewall, which is app ID. What is application ID? What is the app ID overview? How we can create application groups and filters, and we can use these groups and filters in your security rules for allowing the traffic for some application and blocking the traffic for some application. So here we will discuss everything in details, guys. And also I will tell you, let's suppose your application is hosted on TCP. Then how my PaloAlto firewall is processing the TCP packet against the app ID engine. How my PaloAlto firewall is going to do the processing for UDP based packets for the against the app ID engine. All these details we are going to discuss here. And here I will show you how we can allow the Facebook, but we can block the Facebook chat, Facebook post, right? How I will also show you how we can block the risk level 5 application. But if you want to do some whitelisting of the risky application, that thing also we can able to do, right? So multiple labs are there in your app ID. Once I'll complete that, I'll move towards the content ID topic. And guys, if I'll say this content ID, which means content ID includes the layer 7 inspection. Layer 7 inspection means this is the engine inside the PaloAlto firewall, or this is the chip inside the PaloAlto firewall who is going to do the layer 7 inspection. Means it will basically check the payload or the data at layer 7 for the viruses. Means your antivirus protection, anti-spyware protection, your vulnerability protection, your URL filtering, your extra dynamic list, your file blocking, your wildfire. All these things comes under the content ID. And guys, we will do everything practically here. In antivirus practical, I will try to download the virus from the internet, and we will see how my firewall is going to provide the protection here. I will try to download some type of spyware from the internet, and we will see how my firewall is providing the protection. Then I will I have a Kali Linux on my lab, guys, and everyone know this Kali Linux we generally use for launching the attacks, right, in the network. So I will use this Kali Linux for launching some type of exploitation for the vulnerabilities. So what I have the AD server, and I will try to exploit some vulnerabilities on this AD server. I will launch like brute force attack type of things. I will do the some network scanning and other things. And we will see if we have this vulnerability protection profile there, how my firewall is blocking all these things there. Then we will see the URL filtering, how my PaloAlto firewall is going to do the URL filtering, how we can block the adult website, right? How we can basically, let's say you have a list of some block list and some allow list, these type of list of domains you are having, then how we can use these domains in your dynamic extra dynamic list, or how we can create a custom URL category. So everything we will discuss here. In URL filtering, we will discuss what is management plain cache, what is data plain cache for URLs, right? How PaloAlto firewall is going to communicate with the PanDB cloud for the URL lookup. So what is the process, how it will do, everything we will discuss. What are the daemons involved? So all these things I will cover here. Once I'll complete that, and after I'll just move towards the zone protection and DOS protection lab. Guys, here I will show you what is zone protection and what is DOS protection. Let's suppose someone has launched the TCP SYN flood attack. How we can protect from this type of attack? Let's suppose someone has launched the UDP flood attack, or someone has launched the ICMP flood attack, or someone is doing the IP spoofing attack. How we can prevent from the how we can prevent our network from such kind of attacks? So guys, if you want to prevent, you have to go with the zone protection profile and DOS protection. What is the major difference between zone protection and DOS protection? So everything I'm going to cover in detail. And guys, these type of live attacks I'm going to launch, okay, in your lab environment. And I will launch these attacks, so we will able to see like things are happening in a real. And by when I will launch the attack, I will show you if we have not configured these protections, then the attack is going through and your firewall session capacity is exhausted. So these type of things we can easily do. And if we have a protection, then PaloAlto firewall is start blocking these particular packets, and all these things we will see. Then I move towards the decryption, because nowadays guys, all the website, even it's a good website or even it's a malicious website, every website is hosted over the HTTPS. Because if your website is hosted over the HTTPS, which means if your system is communicating with the server where they have hosted a website over the HTTP, means they will create a SSL tunnel, right? And inside that tunnel, whatever packet they will exchange, all are encrypted. Maybe your firewall, whatever you are having here, this firewall is not able to give you the inspection properly because data is encrypted. Now, how we can apply the decryption on the firewall? What is the certificates? What is root certificate? What is intermediate root certificate? What is identity certificate, right? Everything I will cover here. What is SSL handshake? Because I will go through with the advanced level overview of SSL handshake I'm going to give you in the session with the help of some Wireshark captures. And also guys, in your SSL outbound decryption and SSL inbound decryption, I will show you with the help of Wireshark when firewall is doing the decryption, how it is doing, how it is basically modifying the certificate and other things, and how your PaloAlto firewall is doing the in actual this particular decryption, how PANOS used to do the things in a backend. Everything I will cover. Then nowadays, guys, most of the attacks is happening through the SHS tunnels via SHS decryption. So we will see how we can do the SHS decryption as well. Then I will go through with the user ID, how we can configure the user identification. Because nowadays in your every organization, you used to get the IP address via DHCP. Maybe today in your laptop, you will get the IP address in this range. Maybe tomorrow you will get the IP address on this range, right? IP address is not fixed. And guys, let's suppose in your security posture, you have a security policies on the basis of department wise. Then how you will achieve that task? Because IP address is not fixed, which means if IP address is changing for a user, means you will not able to configure the uniform security policies, right? So what we have to do, we will basically configure the user based policies on the basis of users, on the basis of groups. So means whatever the IP address that particular user get, when it will log into that machine, there's a IP to user to IP binding has been created in your firewall, and now firewall enforce all the security policy according to the user or according to the user group. So all these things we will see. How we can do the AD integration with the help of LDAP, how we can configure the users to group mapping. What is the exact scope of work for that? If you just need a user to IP mapping, there is some less configuration you have to do. If you want a user to group mapping, then why we need that user to group mapping? What is the use case, right? And here I will show you how we can use the built-in PANOS user ID agent and how we can use the external user ID agent software for that. Everything I will cover. So we will see both type of deployment for the user ID agents. Once we complete that, I'll move towards your IPsec site-to-site VPN. In IPsec site-to-site VPN, I will go through with the phase 1 exchange process, phase 2 exchange process, and I will give you here advanced level overview, guys, with the help of some Wireshark captures. Even though I will also decrypt your phase 1 and phase 2 messages. I will also decrypt your ESP message with the help of keys and how that particular exchange process is happening. So everything we will see in detail. And also I have mentioned here around 13 use cases for the VPNs, and these are the main use case you will see in the production environment, guys. And I will cover few of them in your classes, and for rest of them I will give the recording. So I have mentioned around 13 use cases in total, and these are the generally VPN use case you will get in the production environment. So which I will cover all of them. And after that, I'll just move towards the global protect session, where I will go through with the global protect connection flow, global protect connection method, how we can configure the global protect for the user logon method, then on demand method, then we have a pre-logon, then on demand, pre-logon, then user logon, right? What is the use case of these particular methods? So we are going to discuss everything in detail here. Then I will also show you how we can basically configure the syslog servers. So we can send the logs to syslog, how we can configure the net flow. So we can send the data for the net flow analyzers like solar events, and how we can get the details of top application, top talkers, all these details. What is the log type we are having? What is the dashboard, basic logging, reporting, all these things I will cover. Panorama, I will not touch, guys, because for Panorama, I have a dedicated training of around 5 hours on Panorama, where I used to discuss everything with regards to Panorama. Then I will also go through with your high availability, where I will discuss active passive high availability, configuration of active passive HA, then active high availability, configuration of active HA. And here we will do the floating IP HA lab, rfloat share HA lab, mixed mode HA lab, right? All these things. And in your HA, I will also give you the advanced level overview as well. How the HA is maintained between the firewalls. What is the use of HA agent daemon? How that particular daemon communicate and they will basically maintain your HA. So everything we will see in detail, and with the help of advanced level debug commands, where we will able to see everything regarding the HA. Means I will give you the advanced level architecture detail of PAN-OS HA, how it is implemented inside the Palo Alto firewall. Once we will complete that, I will go through with the troubleshooting utilities as well, like how we can create a packet filter, how we can take the packet captures in your Palo Alto firewall, how we can run the advanced debug commands like flow basic level commands, how we can run the TCP dump command to capture the data in the management plane. So these are the main thing which I am going to discuss with regards to the Palo Alto firewall. So guys, in this training, I will cover everything with regards to the PCNSE level for the firewall perspective, because in PCNSE exam they will ask the questions from the panorama as well, and panorama part is not included. Okay, I will cover for your firewall perspective. This training will help you with all type of configuration. It will help you to crack your interviews, and you can able to work in the Palo Alto 5 in any organization. Means this training will cover as your L1 task, L2 task, and L3 task, everything. And guys, if you just like, if you are only working on the troubleshooting, like you are a tech professional, so for the troubleshooting, I have another sessions for advanced tech troubleshooting training. I have a dedicated classes, and that training is around 70+ hours, where I will only discuss the tech related concept, like your troubleshooting related concept. So this is the course content, guys, for your Palo Alto firewall. Now let me just go through with one of the topic in your today's session, which is packet flow in your Palo Alto firewall, or how Palo Alto firewall is used to do the packet processing or life of a packet inside the PAN-OS. Guys, one more time, can you just confirm I'm audible properly? My screen is visible to everyone. Just confirm on the chat. Okay, okay. Okay, guys, then let's just start with the Palo Alto firewall packet flow. So guys, if you not remember, like I did I have just did one more demo in last week, and on that last week I have gone through with the SP3 architecture in detail. That particular video is available on YouTube, so you can also check that video where I have discussed with the this particular block diagram and everything, how Palo Alto Firewall is going to do the things. Okay, now let us start with the packet flow. So guys, today maybe I will not go in depth. Like I will not go with the very depth for packet flow, but I will try to cover, because for packet flow I need minimum 2 hours to complete, because in packet flow there are so many things, but I will give you the overview of it. So you at least you can able to get the things. Cool. So let's suppose I have my firewall here. I have my PC here. This is my PC1. It is an, let's say, interface is Ethernet 1x2. And this particular interface is a part of inside zone. And this PC have IP which is 10.1.1.70. I have one more interface like Ethernet 1x1. This interface is outside. Here I have my internet service provider. And after that, here we have one of the server. Let's suppose server 1. And that server have IP 151.7. Maybe 100. And they have hosted the service on TCP port 443. It's just a web server. Okay, now what used to happen generally, because it's a HTTPS server, guys, and that server listening on TCP port 443, which means what is the very first packet you will expect? Let's suppose I have opened the web browser in this PC and I have just put the IP address of that server 151.7.100 with HTTPS. Like what you will expect? What is the first packet that particular PC will initiate? Write on the chat. What is the first packet you will see here? Anyone have any idea? I got the answer from Basim Bhatt, Ashish, yes. What they will send the TCP SYN. So this is the first packet, TCP SYN. Now this TCP SYN received by the firewall. Now as soon as this firewall received the packet, what it will do now? Now this firewall start the packet processing according to the life of a packet. So what used to happen, guys? When Palo Alto Firewall receive this TCP SYN request, what it will do the processing? It will process packet at the ingress stage. Now, guys, these are the stages which you have to remember. What is the first stage? First stage is your ingress stage. Then we have a second stage, which is flow lookup. Then we have a third stage, which is slow path. Slow path is also known as session setup stage. Session setup stage. Then we have a fourth one, which is fast path. Then we have a fifth one, which is app ID. Then we have a sixth one, which is content ID. Then we have a seventh one, which is forwarding stage. So what used to happen now? My Palo Alto received this first packet, TCP SYN, and TCP SYN will go through with all these stages: ingress stage, flow lookup, slow path, fast path, app ID, content ID, and forwarding stage. So guys, if somebody asking in your interviews, like, can you just explain the flow logic of Palo Alto, or can you just explain the packet flow of the Palo Alto firewall? What you have to do, you have to start with the packet processing stages. What you have to do, you have to like start your answer with that, like PaloAlto, when PaloAlto 5 receive the packet on any interface, it will process the packet according to the ingress stage, then flow lookup, then slow path, then fast path, then app ID, then content ID, and after that it will go through the forwarding stage. Now when you will complete these stage discussion, what you have to do after that, now you have to start what is going to do or what PaloAlto firewall is going to do in ingress stage. Now let's try to understand that part. Let's try to understand that part, what going to happen with the ingress stage. So now, for that what I will do, I'll take the help of one of the diagram which I have created here. So now guys, this particular diagram is visible, or shall I increase the size? Let me just do that. Yeah, I can able to make it like this. Okay. Now, PaloAlto 5 receive the packet. Once it will receive the packet, what it will do? It will start processing this packet against the ingress stage. Now in this ingress stage, what it is going to do? Let's suppose it has received the packet on Ethernet 1x2 interface. Okay. What it will do? It will extract the information from that particular packet. What it will extract? Your layer 2 information, which means your PaloAlto 5 going to extract the source MAC from the packet and destination MAC address. And guys, these details my PaloAlto firewall got from the Ethernet header or from the frame or from the layer 2 header. It will extract the layer 3 information. In layer 3 information, it will extract your source IP address, your destination IP address, and it will also extract the layer 3 protocol details. Then it will extract the layer 4. From the layer 4, what? It will extract your source port detail and destination port detail. Even though it will do the parsing of the entire headers, guys. Okay. It will do the parsing of the entire header according to the TCP/IP model. Okay. It will do the packet parsing according to the TCP/IP model, but first it is doing the extraction. It will extract these particular information. Now, by looking this particular interface, because firewall know he received the packet on Ethernet 1x2 interface, so it knows the interface because this interface is a part of some zone like inside zone. So what it will do now? PaloAlto get the source zone detail, means it will do the zone lookup on the basis of ingress interface. Ingress means this is the interface where we have received the packet. It will get the zone detail. Now my PaloAlto have the zone details. And it will do the IP fragment reassembly if applicable. If firewall, let's suppose sometime what we used to receive the fragmented packets, right? Because there is a, let's suppose fragmentation is happening, then we will definitely receive the fragmented packets, right? So if we receive the fragmented packet, what firewall used to do? It needs to do the IP reassembly. It will reassemble and it will make the actual IP header, and after that it will apply the ingress stage processing on that actual IP header or actual packet. Now, so guys, this extraction and thing is clear to everyone. Now, once this extraction will complete, what it will do? Now it will basically check for the ingress process errors, means that it will check the errors. What type of errors? So guys, Just tell me one thing, your headers, if I will discuss your IPv4 header, your TCP header, these headers have some defined fields, right? These headers, they have some defined size as well. Let's suppose there is some errors in these particular headers. In that case, what it will do, PaloAlto 5 going to discard the packet. Means let's suppose somebody has changed some fields on these headers using any type of tools. Means if there is any problem at the header level, what it will do, it will discard these packets, because this every packet should follow the TCP IP model for creating the IP header details and the entire packet details, right? And if somebody is doing some changes at the header level, which is illegal, right? And that type of packets has been discarded by the PaloAlto firewall. Okay. Now let's try to understand regarding these errors. I'll come back here. And guys, this is the advanced level diagram according to your PanOS 11. What it has start the English packet processing, extract the information, extract layer 2, layer 4, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 information, fragment reassembly. Then it will check the English process error. If there is any error on the packet, it will discard it. If no, then it will basically check the DOS block table. What is this DOS block table, guys? When you will configure the zone protection, or when you will configure the DOS protection, means if somebody has launched any type of TCP flood attack or UDP flood attack or ICMP flood attack or the IP spoofing attack, what you used to do, if you have configured the zone protection, DOS protection profiles there, what they used to do, these profiles, they will basically block these particular packets and they will put that IP address into the DOS block table. And guys, if the packet coming from that particular IP address, if yes, then it will discard that particular packet right away. Means it will check the DOS block table. So this is the something new which is added by the PanOS, or PanOS added this particular thing into the PanOS 11 version, and this particular thing is also available in your PanOS 10 as well, guys. So this is the new thing. Now regarding the errors, what type of errors you will see generally in the environment? Let me just show you the errors. So in an IP header, you generally have the error. Let's say there is a mismatch of the ether type and IP version. Let's suppose there is a mismatch on ether type and IP version. Means let's suppose at the IP version, there is a, let's say we have received the packet with IPv4 version. Let's suppose in the field they just shown like IPv6, which is a mismatch, right? So these type of packets they will discard. If we are getting any type of truncation or truncated IP header, means if somebody has removed some fields from the IP header, these type of packet is also dropped by the PaloAlto firewall. Let's suppose we are receiving the packet with the IP protocol number 0. In that case also PaloAlto firewall is going to drop these packets, and these packet is dropping at the ingress state. Will check the errors, okay, in this particular section. Then TTL 0, sometime what we are receiving the packet with time to live field which is 0. In that case also we will drop these particular packets. Let's suppose source IP address equals to the destination IP address. Means if let's say we are receiving the packet from this source and destination is also the same, this is some type of, this thing is known as land attack. And PaloAlto firewall is also going to discard or block these packets right away. Ping of death type of packet it will block. Martian IP address packet it will block. Now there is some like if we are receiving IPv6 packet, then if there is a mismatch on ether type and IP version, truncated IP header, truncated IP packet, these type packets it will block. Jumbogram extension it will block. Truncated extension header it will block. At your layer 4, in layer 4 generally we have a TCP, UDP, ESP, GRE, ICMP headers, right? And these are the headers which parsing is happen at your layer 4. In your TCP, let's suppose TCP header is truncated. Truncated means we have removed some fields from the TCP header, like we have removed the source port field. And these type of packets has been discarded right away. Data offset field is less than 5. If we are receiving, it will block. Checksum error, it will block. Mahinder, here I'm not talking about the layers of ICMP works on which layer. Okay, I am talking about it will consider this ICMP at a layer 4 header here. Okay, I'm talking about the PAN-OS perspective here. I'm not talking about like ICMP works on layer 3 or whatever. Its parsing happens at the layer 4 only. Okay, let's suppose there is a checksum error. It will block that packet. There is a, let's say port field is 0, then this particular packet is also dropped. Invalid combination of TCP flags, it will work. Can you see this flag like SYN is also set on the same packet and FIN is also set? Are you able to see this type of combination is not possible, right? Can you see the first packet with SYN equals to SYN flag set 1 and X flag is also set 1? No. These are the invalid combination, and these type of packets is also blocked by the PaloAlto firewall. In UDP, if there is like UDP header truncated, UDP payload truncated, UDP buffer length less than the UDP length field, checksum error. So such type of UDP packets is also dropped by the PaloAlto firewall during the error check. Like if we are receiving the fragmented packet, then fragment will be parts reassembled by the defragmentation process and then fed back to the parser. Parsing will continue with the layer 3 IP header. A fragment may be discarded due to teardrop attack or if there is a overlapping fragment. So these type of packet is also dropped by the PaloAlto firewall. If one of the fragment are missing, all the fragment will be dropped since packet cannot be reconstructed. So in that case, it will drop your fragmented packets as well. Then your DOS block table lookup, it will do. And guys, these are the commands you can run these commands. You can able to check debug data plane, show DOS block table. It will show you the DOS block table. And guys, this table is a part of your data plane. Okay. If you want to remove, you can remove the IP address with this command. So these things we will discuss in detail, guys. And after that, if you will see here, after that what? It will check the packets belongs to the IPsec VPN or packet belongs to the SSL VPN, like Global Protect. If we are receiving so if I'll say, if we are receiving the ESP packets, or if we are receiving the SSL packets, or if we are receiving the SHS packet, or if we are receiving the GRE packet. What used to happen with these packets, guys? Your actual IP header is hidden behind these protocols, right? Because these are the tunneling protocols. So for that, what it used to do, PaloAlto firewall, if it is receiving the ESP packets, what it will do? If it will receive the ESP packets, what it will do? It will first check the hash on the packet, then it will start decrypting it will decrypt that packet, and after it will decapsulate it, and once it will do all these three things on the packet, it will get the actual IP header. Now that actual packet will be sent against for the ingress stage processing. In SSL VPN, it will check the hash and it will decrypt, and after the decryption, it will get the actual packet and it will send that packet here. For GRE, it will check the hash and decapsulate, and after it will send that packet. So it will check these like IPsec packet, SHS packet, SSL VPN packet, GRE packet, and if these are the packet, then these packet is handled by the PaloAlto firewall differently, and here your SSL engine come in a picture. Okay. Now let's move further. Let me just decrease the size a little bit. So guys, till this point, if I'll go here, now till this point, your ingress stage processing is completed. So now in your ingress stage, if I will say majorly what? Majorly it will do the packet processing, it will extract your layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 information, and it will get the source IP detail, destination IP detail, source port details, destination port detail, your layer 3 protocol detail, and your source zone detail. It will basically get the details of these 6 tuples, okay, from the packet. And it will also do the IP assembly for the fragmented packets. It will do the ingress error, or it will check the header errors, and it will basically also do the decryption, decapsulation for your VPN related packets or your tunneling protocol related packets. And after that, now it will send that packet for the firewall sessions lookup. Means this stage is known as flow lookup. The next one. This flow lookup is also known as session table lookup. What? This is also known as session table lookup. Now in this session table lookup, what it will do? Because you know, let's suppose the source IP address from in the packet is 10.1.1.70. Destination IP address is 151.7.100. Then source port detail, let's suppose 1025. Destination port details is 443. Layer 3 protocol number for TCP. What is the layer 3 protocol number for TCP, guys? 6 or 17? What is? And source zone is inside. Now it has that particular detail. What it will do now, my PaloAlto firewall is going to apply the MD5 hash on these 6 tuples. And it will get one hashed value here. One hashed value it will get here. Now what it will do, it will basically, this value is also called like a flow key. Let's say it's just a some number here. It not number, it's a like some value combination of your number, special characters, all these things. Now what it will do, now it will just take this flow key, and according to this flow key, it will do the lookup into the session table inside the PaloAlto firewall. It will do the lookup into the session table, or I can say flow table, or your connection table, all are same. Because you know, what is this flow table or connection table? It is just nothing. What PaloAlto firewall used to store the information of the session into the session table, where it has the details of this flow key. This here it has the details of the MD5 hash value details. It will do the lookup on the session table according to this flow key. So guys, this is just TCP send packet. So what it will do? you will find any type of existing session for this particular packet. It's a new packet, right? We will not find any sessions. What will happen when it will do the lookup? Session match? No. If session match is no, then what it will do? It will forward this packet through the slow path or firewall session setup stage. Now in firewall sessions setup stage, what it is used to do? It will just check your routing table. It will do the routing lookup. Then it will go through your net policy lookup. Then it will go through your firewall security policy lookup. And if all these lookups is fine, then it will what it will do, it will create a session and it will install that session detail. This is the like whatever this particular document I'm discussing, this document Palo Alto have released on 2010. It's a very old document. It is not having all the information. So now if I'll go into the mine one, your packet go for the firewall flow lookup. It will do the lookup using the 6 tuple information, which is your source IP, source port, destination IP, destination port, layer 3 protocol, and source zone detail, right? 6 tuple information, it will do the lookup. And in the session table, generally it will not found any packet because it's just a first packet. So now this packet will go through the slow path, which is session setup state. Now in this session setup state, the very first thing is happened, which is it will this packet check against your zone protection profile. Means your zone protection profile check is happening here for TC due to this TCP SYN flood attack and all of them. And also it will check the TCP state check. What do you mean by the TCP state check? Can you just tell me your TCP SYN packet? Your what is the first packet in your TCP? Always a TCP SYN. So it will check that particular TCP state check, means because it's a first packet and first packet is always a TCP SYN request. So it will check the state of the TCP packet, like whether we are receiving the TCP SYN or we are receiving anything else. So that particular state check it used to do. Let's suppose in TCP communication, we are receiving the first packet, which is acknowledgement. All we are receiving first packets are like FIN. So these type packets, my PaloAlto 5 is going to discard right away at this particular stage. Then after it will move further, it will check the user to IP mapping and user to group mapping check. This check is going to happen. If ingress zone has the user ID, means if your user ID is enabled in your ingress zone, what it will check the user to IP cache as well, just to get the user ID detail. What is the user is associated? What is the username which is associated with that particular IP address? It will also check the application cache information. Identify application if matched with the destination IP, source port, and protocol number. Means it will also do the app ID cache check here on the basis of destination IP, destination port, and destination protocol. And after that, it will basically go for your forwarding lookup. Forwarding lookup means it will do the routing lookup. Routing table lookup. Guys, just remember one thing. In your PaloAlto 5, we have two things. We have a policy-based forwarding, PBF, and we have a routing table, or we have a FIP table, forwarding information base. So what used to happen, if your packet is matched against the PVF, policy based forwarding, it will basically bypass your routing. Routing is bypassed. If we don't have any PVF and if your packet is not matching the PVF rule, then it will do the routing lookup. Guys, what is the main purpose of doing the route lookup? Anyone able to answer this thing? What is the main reason for the PaloAlto firewall to do the routing lookup? Why my firewall or why firewall is doing the routing lookup for this packet? I have not got I got the right answer from Maninder to get the egress interface detail, because firewall is not going to store that packet, right? It has received, now it has to send that packet out. So it needs to know the routing information to get the egress interface and to get the egress zone detail, it is going to perform the routing lookup. So guys, if we have deployed firewall in layer 3 mode, first it will check the PVF, policy based forwarding. If that information will find on PVF, that is good. Otherwise, it will do the lookup into the fifth table, or which is also known as routing table. And it will, once it has the detail of egress interface, now what it will do, now it will move further. Just give me 1 second. Let me go on little bit top. Let me increase the size little bit. Yep. Now what it will do, now it will do the net policy lookup. Here it will do the evaluation, means it will just do the net evaluation. Let me just explain you this part so you can able to understand properly. So if you will see here, in net policy lookup, what it used to do, it will just do the evaluation. Evaluation means it will check which net rule is matching. It will not do the IP translation. IP translation is not performed here. Basim, can you just hold your horse, man? Okay, let me, when I'll go into the app ID, I will cover that. Okay. Do not distract right now. So what used to happen? That packet go into the net policy lookup. Now in this net policy lookup, what used to happen? If your packet if your packet is matching the destination net rule, if your packet is matching the DNet, destination net, which means what will happen? After when firewall apply the destination net, when it will do the destination IP translation from one IP to another one, maybe if your destination IP will change, maybe your destination or your egress interface may change, right? This is true. So if your packet is matching the destination net rule, what it used to do, now my firewall it will do the routing lookup to get the final interface according to the new interface. You can see here also they have mentioned like secondary forwarding lookup to get the final or real egress interface and zone detail if destination net is present or match the rule. If it's a source net, it will just write down the net index number. It will move further and here it will go for the firewall security policy lookup. Here it will consider like your application is any and your URL is any to see if there is any rule match that allow the packet for given address and the port. By default, allow same zone and deny different zone due to the two configured default rules, which is your intrazone default and interzone default, right? So it will now match the security policy rule. If your security policy is match, an action is like deny or reset client or reset server or reset both or drop what, it will discard the packet. If If your firewall is allowing the action is allowed, then it will move further and it will create a session here. Once session is created, now your packet go towards the fast path. Now in fast path, what it used to do, now in this fast path, it will again start your layer 2 to layer 4 firewall processing, but not for this packet, because this packet processing is already completed. Start, and what it will apply the net here. So guys, here it will do the evaluation, and in fast path they will apply the net. And if your packet belongs to the SSL decryption, SSL proxy, now your packet is processed by the SSL engine. And if your application is identified, if no, then your packet go through the app engine, then your packet go through the content engine, and after that your packet go into the forwarding stage. In forwarding state, they will do the packet forwarding at layer 3. At layer 4, at layer 3, they will apply the quality of service, IP fragmentation, all of them. And after that, if it's like your packet belongs to VPN, then they will use to do the encryption, all these things, encapsulation inside the ESP header, and after that your packet go out. That's how the packet processing is happen in your PaloAlto firewall. Guys, I will not able to explain in detail because there are so many things here as well, because all these things I used to cover in your live classes. There are so many things, right? There's lots of details we have to discuss. So packet flow is a very, very big topic, and I used to take around 2 or 3 hours of sessions to complete the entire packet flow. So guys, now this thing I'm stopping here. There is a one question is asked by one of the person called Wasim. He just said, this TCP SYN packet will go through with the app engine or not? So Wasim, can you able to tell me, is this TCP SYN having any type of layer 7 data? Or anyone? Can guys TCP SYN have anything at layer 7? No. If we don't have the data at layer 7, then do you think we can send that packet through the app engine? Not needed, right? Because without having any data, we cannot, like, my firewall is not able to identify anything. So this TCP SYN plus ACK and ACK, these packet will not go through your app engine. After that, after TCP 3-way handshake, let's suppose if you are communicating with the HTTP server or the website which is hosted on TCP/80, means what now? After TCP SYN, they will get that HTTP GET request. So this packet will go through app engine. If your website is hosted on TCP 443, means SSL, then your client hello packet will go through the app engine. If let's suppose if it's a UDP, in UDP your first packet itself will go through the app engine. So that's how your firewall is going to do the processing for the packets. I will not able to discuss the everything on today's class, because you know today's session is only for 1 hour. I have already extended like 20 minutes more. So now I'm stopping here, guys, one more time. If you are interested for this particular training, fees for PaloAlto is 7,000. And for fees for both combo PaloAlto and advanced web is 12,000 INR. And this is for Indian students, guys. If someone is from the outside and if they will pay using the PayPal, fees is 100 USD for PaloAlto, and for combo they have to pay 200 USD. And guys, these classes will happen over the weekends, and that particular batch I'm starting from 27th of May, and this batch is in a evening time, like 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And this is the contact number which belongs to me. So in case of if you are interested, you can take the screenshot of that number and you can able to enroll for this particular training.